What's up guys, it's your boy JustMinus here with another video deck profile. Today I got for you a Crusadia deck profile. Not a Crusadia Dragon Link, it's just a traditional Crusadia with the Kaijus. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy, so let's just get it started. So we're going to start off with 3 copies of Crusadia Maximus. All Crusadia level 4 lower monsters, they have an inherit summon where you can special summon the cards from the hand into a link zone that a link monster points to. That's a hard once per turn. Maximus, his other effect is that you can target a Crusadia link monster, and this turn, if it battles an opponent's monster, any battle damage it inflicts to your opponent is doubled instead. Also, other monsters you control cannot attack. So that's his effect. Then we have 3 Crusadia Leones. Same thing, special summon itself to a link monster it points to. His effect is that once per turn, you can target a Crusadia link monster you control, and if it attacks a defense position monster this turn, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. So that's what this guy does. I don't usually use his effect. I've used his effect a lot, but not Leonis. He's just the extra summon. Then it's 3 copies of Crusadia Draco. He replenishes, so his effect is if this card is normal special summon to his own link monster points to, you can target a Crusadia card, not monster, any Crusadia card in your graveyard except Crusadia Draco, and add it to your hand. So it could either be recycling a Crusadia monster or one of the Crusadia spell or trap cards if you run the trap cards. I don't think I've seen a lot of profiles though that runs the trap card. Next we have 3 copies of Crusader Borea. Same thing, special summon itself to a link zone it points to. Her effect is also a hard once per turn. If a Crusadia monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card instead. So it protects any Crusadia link monster, which is pretty cool. So 3 copies of her. And the reason why you run 3 of each is, you want to see them often in your hand. That way you just, you summon and you keep linking up into the stronger Crusadia monsters. Lastly, our last Crusadia monster is Crusadia Reclusia. If this card is her effect or its effect, if this card is normal special summon to his own link monster points to, you can target 1 Crusadia card you control and 1 card your component controls. Destroy them. So, quick destruction effect. I like it. It gets rid of things that are on the board. My build is a second turn build, so you're about to see a lot of hand traps coming up. We have Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. Everybody knows what this one does. This one destroys. So, if I could get to destroy a monster, so it stops my opponent from linking up, at least for builds that do a lot of link summoning. So 3 copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. Then 3 Ash Blossoms and Joyous Spring. Everybody knows what she does. She's a staple nowadays. Very expensive card now. Well, not super expensive, but expensive still. Then 1 copy of World Legacy World Crown. It's an extender, but honestly, I might just drop this one for something else. I just haven't figured out what other card I would like to put in this deck. But it extends, so it special summons itself to a linked monster it points to. And then when a monster that was special summoned from the extra deck activates its quick effect, you can tribute this card and negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. So that's one of the things why I was putting this in 1, is because it stops extra summon monsters by from activating their effects. So I usually, if I have this card in hand, I usually don't link it away. I usually just keep it as a as a negation effect. But yeah, 1 copy off. Then we have 2 Parallel Exceed. For me, it's worked at 2. I have not once yet drawn 2 in my hand, so I like it at 2 instead of 3. At least that's my favorite ratio. His effect is if if you link summon, you can special summon this card from your hand to your zone a link monster points to. Its other effect is if this card is normal or special summon, you can special summon a Paralytic Seed from your deck. So it extends the place, and it's a really good card. I can see why a lot of players play the card, not just in in Crusaders, almost any build. It's a really good card. Good extenders. Then we have 2 copies of Format Skipper. Again, a lot of people run 3. I like it in 1. Essentially, if you open up with, let's say, this and then only 1 Crusadia monster, obviously you need 2 Crusadia monsters to start the link up process. So his effect essentially is during the main phase you can reveal a link monster in your extra deck, and if you do, when you link summon this turn, you can treat this card as link material with the same name. So what you do is you use any card that's in the extra deck that's a Crusadia, not Crusadia Magius, but any other Crusadia monster, and then you link away, and then the other Crusadia monster you had in hand, you special summon into the zone that the Crusadia Magius is pointing to, and it starts the process of linking up. But his other effect that's really important is he actually searches for Parallel Sea Dragon. When this card is sent to graveyard link material, add a level 5 or higher Cyberse monster from your deck to your hand. So it's a really good card. It starts off the combos. It's one of the combos that you can start with. But after I show you everything, I'm gonna show you what my at least my 3 card combo is. But yeah, this is a good card. I run it at 2. It's just another starter, opener. I mean. Then we have the Kaiju package, which is 1 copy of Gamma Seal, the Sea Turtle Kaiju. Again, these I don't use their secondary effects because I don't run a Kaiju build. I mean a Kaiju engine. It's just to get rid of annoying monsters, and so my Crusadia Link monsters can increase their attacks when it's pointing at them. Obviously they go to the opponent's side of the field when you tribute their monster. Then we have Gadarla, the Mystery Dust Kaiju. Cool card. Let me see. I'm gonna add 2. Let's see. Jisukiro, the Star Destroying Kaiju. This is the strongest one in my package at 3,300 attack. And lastly, Dogoran, the Mad Flame Kaiju. Again, this one is the second strongest. So my reasoning, for these 2, obviously I want to keep 2 weak ones and 2 strong ones, just in case I do the Kaiju interrupted Kaiju Slumber play. Now for my spell and traps, I run not too many. The first card is going to be a Crusadia Testament. So this card is really good. It's a hard once per turn, and you can only activate 1 of these effects per turn. So your first effect is your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to the activation of your Crusadia monster effect this turn. Now that's a really good effect in itself. You could actually, if you draw into this card, you activate it, and it ensures you that they can't stop your Crusadia effects monsters. Or at the end of the damage step, this is the other second effect. After the damage calculation, if your Crusadia Link monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, draw cards equal to your monster's link rating. And I'll show you that combo later, but it's a really good card. I've managed to draw 4 off of this because of its second effect. So 1 copy of Crusader Testament. You can run it at 2. It's a good card. I would run it at 2. I might be able to just put away the World Legacy and get a second copy of this. Then we have Crusader Revival, the field spell. All Crusader Link monsters on the field gain 500 attack. Good, that's a good effect, as it is already. And then once per turn, you can target Crusader Link monster you control. This turn, even if this card leaves the field, and it can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. Also, other monsters you control cannot attack. So if your opponent has a board, activate this card, and you manage to actually attack each and one of them, you could possibly just win the game with this card. So good card. 2 copies of Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. Everybody knows what this one does. It's pretty much destroy as many monsters in the field, special summon 2 Kaijus with different name and attack positions, and they have to attack if able. And then during your main phase, except this card, when this card was sent to the graveyard, banish it and add a Kaiju monster from deck to hand. So again, this is a turn 2 deck. So it's always funny when your opponent kind of sets up a bit, assuming they didn't get negated by my Ash or the Ghost Ogre or my other hand trap. Boom, goodbye to all of his little monsters. Then we have 2 copies of World Legacy Section, because again, we do link summon here a lot, and that extra monster can always, be the key to winning. Hard once per turn. Monster Reborn, everybody knows this one. And lastly, my last set of cards, Infinite Impermanence. This deck is heavy. It's heavy on hand traps. Infinite Impermanence, Ghost, Ash Blossom, and Ghost Ogre. Sorry, there's so many Ghost Girls, and I run a lot of them in different decks. But yeah, my idea behind this deck was a second turn deck, Kaijus, 9 hand traps, and just try to OTK the opponent that turn. Alright guys, for the extra deck, we got 3 copies of Crusadia Magius. This is your Link 1 monster. You can only link summon this by using 1 Crusadia monster. He gains attack equal to the attack that the monster it points to, and his effect is, if an effect monster is special into a zone this card points to, you can add a Crusadia monster from deck to your hand. So yeah, 3 copies of him. He's the main starter for the link up process, so you always have to run 3. Because you never know if it gets, destroyed or, something happens, it gets Ash, whatever. At least you'll have 2 more copies. Then 1 copy of Link YuGiOh. Obviously, this is for the forward skipper play. If it gets Ashed, at least you can still Link summon it away, and then special summon it Crusadia and start the Link process from there. But yeah, 1 copy of Link YuGiOh. 1 copy of IP Masquerina. She doesn't see too much play. I still use her just in case. And then 1 copy of Geonator Transverser. She actually sees a lot of play, and I used it actually a lot of times in this deck. But really good monster for this type of build. So yeah, 1 enough, and then 2 copies of Crusadia Regulix. It's the same thing as the Magius. The only difference is this one searches for a spell or Crusadia spell or trap card. So yeah, 2 copies of this guy. Then 1 copy of Nightmare Unicorn. Again, this one's just because of IP Masquerina. 2 copies of Crusadia Equimax. He's honestly just for the OTK process, which I'll show you later with the 3-card combo. His effect is gains attack equal to the combined original attack of all monsters this card points to. Monsters this card points to cannot attack. And then once per turn, quick effect, you can tribute 1 Crusadia or World Legacy monster this card points to, then target a face or card your opponent controls and negate its effect until the end of this turn. So yeah, I mean, again, it's mostly just for the OTK and the link summoning process, link up process. But other than that, I don't, he's not like the main guy. Now, the one I go to all the time, obviously the main beater and the main monster for this deck is Mech Knight Crusadia Abramax. Everybody knows what this guy does. For those of you who don't know, is while this link summon card is on the field, your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. Also, their monsters cannot target monsters for attacks except for this one. And then once per battle during the damage calculation, if this card battles a special summon monster, quick effect, you can make this card gain attack equal to that opponent's monster's attack during the damage calculation only. So it's got an honest inherited effect, if you want to call it that. And then if this link summon card you control is sent to your graveyard by an opponent's card, shuffle 1 card on the field into the deck, which is probably the most powerful effect in my opinion for Abramax. So the opponent always has to watch out for that. And then for the last 2 cards, the XC summons Light Dragon Ignister. He's part of the combo for the 3-card combo that I have at least. And his effects are pretty cool. I'm actually amazed that this card isn't more expensive. I believe it should be a little more pricey. His effect reads: if a monster or monsters you control would be destroyed by card effect, you can detach 1 material from this card instead. So it protects your cards from card destruction. Not by battle though. His other effects is you can detach that material from this card, destroy face-up monsters your opponent controls up to the number of Ignister monsters you control. Again, it doesn't target, and since obviously I only run one Ignister in this deck, would be this guy, it'll only destroy one. But his best effect is, when another Cyberus monster you control inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can special summon one Link monster from the graveyard. So, you know where I'm going with this, right? If you have this guy already on field, obviously you Link summoned him from Equimax. So he attacks a monster, you inflict damage, boom, this one will activate, special summon the Equimax, and then boom, you summon Equimax right below Abramax, so that way he gets his, his little 3k boost from him, and then you swing with this guy, lastly. So, again, this deck is meant to go second, and it's meant to OTK your opponent by battle that same turn. So yeah, now I'm going to just move on with the 3-card combo. So just bear with me a little. Alright guys, so this is the 3-card combo. So it's 1 copy of Parallel Exceed, Crusadia, Draco, and Maximus. Again, this is the combo, at least for me, that gives out the most. So assuming assuming this is the second turn, right? This is a second turn deck. So this is what I'm looking for. Now, how you start it off is you normal summon the Maximus. So you normal summon Maximus, you link into Magius. When Magius is link summoned, special summon the Exceed from your hand. Now that the Exceed has summoned, you can chain block here. Obviously, the one you don't want negated is the Exceed. So chain link 1, chain link 2. So nothing happens. Let's just presume nothing happens, and you go into. You can go into anything, but I like to go into Arborea. Alright, so you add the Arborea to hand, and then the Exceed special summons itself from the deck. Boom. Alright, now you got these two. The next thing you do is you link summon these away into the link 2 monster, which is Regulix, right? So now that you're at Regulix, the next thing you do is you special summon the Arborea. You special summon Arborea, chain link, or activate its effect, and you search for wrong deck pile, for one of these two. Depending on the situation, you might want to go with this one. If not, that one. If you feel like you're gonna OTK, you go with the Revival. Alright, so you go for Revival, add that to hand, and then you link. And you link into the third Crusadia link monster, Crusadia Equimax. And now you special summon that last Crusadia monster you had, Crusadia Draco. Special summon it right here. Crusadia Draco's effect, if it's link summoned, add a card back to hand. Maximus, because Maximus is the one that was normal summoned. You leave it right there. Now you link this one, you link it into Magius, and then with Magius, you link these two away, and you go into Mech Knight Crusadia Abramax. Alright, so Crusadia Abramax now on the field. Then you special summon this, and here what you do is essentially you're gonna do this. So you're gonna XC summon into the Light Dragon Ignister. Really good card. So here, now you activate your field spell. We're gonna put it right there. So you activate its effect, detach one, and it pops a monster on the field. As you can see, detach the material from this card, destroy face-up monsters your opponent controls up to the number of Ignister monsters you control. So obviously, you only control one. It doesn't target it, which is the best thing. So yeah, it pops it. Then you go into the battle step. You attack with Abramax into a monster. After the damage step, this will activate. You special summon one. You special summon the Equimax. Then you attack with Ignister. And then you can attack with Equimax. Equimax, obviously, since it's put into a monster, he gains the original attack of one monster, which would be 3,000 in this case from Abramax, so he would be at 5,000. So that's pretty much the combo. Um, it's supposed to OTK your opponent in your turn, your first turn. So yeah, I hope you guys like that. If you like the content, hit like and subscribe, and see you in the next one. Just Minus out.